Polina Shimonova is one of the most underrated volleyball players of her generation, and we believe she is one of the greatest outside hitters to ever play college volleyball in America. This is the story of how a quiet girl from Saint Petersburg, Russia, transformed from an unknown junior player buried inside the world's most competitive volleyball system into a record-breaking superstar that an entire program was built around. Nobody recruited her heavily. Nobody was talking about her. And yet, she went and rewrote history anyway. Polina was born on January 21, 2001 in Saint Petersburg, Russia. Her parents, Dmitry and Olga, raised her in one of Russia's most iconic cities, a place known for producing champions. From a young age, Polina was drawn to volleyball the way some kids are drawn to the streets or the playgrounds. It wasn't just a sport. It was the only thing that made sense to her. She was tall, coordinated, and had that rare natural feel for the game that coaches spend their whole careers searching for. But here's where the story gets complicated. Russia doesn't just produce good volleyball players. Russia produces legends. Ekaterina Gamova, Natalia Goncharova, Irina Koshelyeva, names that echo across the entire sport. Being a talented young outside hitter in Russia is like being a great young point guard in France right now. The competition around you is so deep that even genuinely special players get swallowed up by the system. Polina had the skill. She had the athleticism. She had a spike reach of 296 centimeters, which is elite at any level. But inside the Russian machine, she was just another talented kid in a very long line of talented kids. The world had no idea she existed. She started her serious club career with Severianka Cherepovets in 2015. Just 14 years old, and already competing at a level most players don't reach until their late teens. She was sharp, aggressive, and impossible to ignore once she had the ball in her hands. The Russian junior national team came calling, and Polina answered. She represented Russia at the U18 World Championships, where they finished third, a bronze medal on the world stage before she was even old enough to drive. Back home, she went on to win MVP honors at the Russian Championships. That is not a small thing. And yet, despite everything she was doing on the court, no major European club came knocking. No big spotlight, no viral moment. The pathway to becoming a recognized global name inside Russia's system was brutally slow and brutally competitive. Then came the connection that changed everything. Syracuse University's head coach Leonid Yelin had a link to a former player named Marisa Levanova, who had come through the same Russian volleyball network. Through that connection, Polina's name reached Yelin. He offered her a scholarship. It wasn't a bidding war. It wasn't a recruitment circus. It was one offer, one opportunity, one shot at something completely new. She had a choice: stay in Russia and spend years grinding for a spot on a club roster already loaded with established stars, or fly across the world to a university in upstate New York that most people outside of college volleyball had never heard of and start over from zero. She got on the plane. Polina Shimonova arrived at Syracuse University in 2018 as a nobody. She didn't just contribute, she detonated. In her very first season, Polina recorded 447 kills, the most by any freshman in Syracuse program history. That same year, she dragged Syracuse to their first ever NCAA tournament appearance in program history, and they didn't just show up, they won. First tournament appearance. First tournament win, all in Polina's freshman year. The ACC took notice immediately, naming her Freshman of the Year. The AVCA named her an All-American Honorable Mention. Year 1. Done before most freshmen had even figured out their class schedule. Sophomore year, she didn't slow down. She got scarier. In November 2019 against Louisville, she put up 36 kills in a single game. A new Syracuse record. Then she broke her own record with another 36-kill performance against Boston College, the same player, the same season. She finished every single match of that sophomore season with double-digit kills. Not most matches. Every match. She also set the Syracuse record for kills per set at 5.16, a number that still hasn't been touched. All-ACC first team again. By this point, the entire Atlantic Coast Conference had one simple game plan going into every Syracuse match: stop number 13, and nobody could. Then 2020 hit. And it didn't hit like a slump or an injury. It hit like something completely out of her control. COVID-19 travel restrictions meant Polina couldn't get back to campus. While her teammates were practicing together, she was alone, grinding in local gyms, working on her game by herself, doing whatever she could just to stay sharp and stay ready. For most players, that kind of disruption breaks the momentum completely. The rhythm goes, the confidence dips, the season feels lost before it starts. Polina still earned All-ACC second team that year, alone in a gym, thousands of miles from her teammates. That tells you everything about who she is. She came back for her junior season in 2021 locked in and angrier than ever. All-ACC first team, again, third time. Then came 2022, her graduate season, and Polina put on a performance that the ACC had genuinely never seen before. In one single weekend, she erupted for 52 kills, 28 against Wake Forest, then 24 more 2 days later at Virginia Tech. Back-to-back. Different opponents, same unstoppable result. That weekend earned her ACC Player of the Week and sent a message to every program in the country. But the moment that defined everything came on October 9th, 2022 against Louisville. Polina went up for a kill, a movement she had made thousands of times before. And when that ball hit the floor, it was kill number 1,699 of her career. That single point made her the all-time career kills leader in Syracuse program history. She had just broken a record that had stood for over 2 decades, set by Dana Fume between 1997 and 2000. Her teammates flooded the court. Someone handed her flowers, and Polina, true to form, looked like she wanted to get back to playing. She finished her career with 1,845 kills. The record still stands today, and it may stand for a very long time, and through all of it, she was also the captain. 3 straight seasons leading the team. When new players arrived, Polina was the one showing them around, taking them to dinner, making sure they felt at home. Her former teammate, Marina Markova, who had actually played against Polina back in Russia, said that even then Polina was the leader. Easily the biggest threat any opponent had to game plan around, the one every set went to because she could always finish it. She wasn't just the best player at Syracuse, she was the heartbeat of the entire program. She had rewritten the record books. She had carried a program on her back for 5 years straight. But Polina Shimonova was not done, not even close, because now the professional game was waiting, and the question everyone was asking was simple. Could she do it at the next level? After 5 years at Syracuse, Polina Shimonova stood at a crossroads that every elite college athlete eventually faces. The professional game was calling. The question was where? Europe was the obvious answer. Turkey, Italy. The leagues where the world's best outside hitters go to test themselves against the highest level of competition on the planet. Most players in her position made that jump immediately after college. Pack your bags, sign the contract, go overseas. Polina did something different. She stayed. Not as a player, but as a coach. For 1 season, she joined the Syracuse staff as assistant coach and director of operations, pouring everything she had learned across 5 years into the next generation of players. While finishing her master's degree in broadcast and digital journalism at the prestigious Newhouse School, she was simultaneously coaching, studying, and preparing for the professional stage. Then, in February 2024, she signed her first professional contract with Team Atlanta of the Pro Volleyball Federation, a brand new league launching its very first season in America. She didn't just enter the professional game. She entered it as a founding player of an entirely new chapter in American volleyball history. From there, her career went global. Turkey with Nilüfer Belediyespor, Indonesia with the Pro Liga. Club after club, country after country. 9 professional clubs across multiple continents and still going. The girl who arrived in America as an unknown is now a professional athlete competing all over the world. Ekaterina Gamova is the name people say when they talk about the greatest Russian outside hitters of all time. One day, and we genuinely believe this, people are going to mention Polina Shimonova in that same breath, not because of what she was given, but because of what she built from nothing. She didn't arrive with fanfare. She didn't have a recruitment story that filled up highlight reels. She had a spike reach of 296 centimeters, an insane work ethic, and the kind of quiet belief that doesn't need to announce itself. It just shows up every single match and puts the ball on the floor. Not bad for a girl from Russia that nobody in America had ever heard of. If this story gave you chills, then you already know what to do. Hit subscribe because we are just getting started. Drop a comment below telling us which underrated player we should cover next. Your pick could be our next video. Don't miss it.